This is Alexander Playtime Williams of PlayTimeCares.com.
What's up, world? This is Alexander Playtime Words of PlayTimeCares.com, giving you your full SmackDown recap. This one for April 21st, 2016, London, UK. You had Byron Saxton, Mauro Ranallo, the Hall of Famer Jerry the King Lawler as your commentators. Of course, they started off with a Raw recap of the interaction that happened between AJ Styles and Roman Reigns. Of course, AJ Styles approaching Roman Reigns, letting him know that he was going to beat him. He was going to have a match of his life and beat him for the title at Payback, which is in 8 days. Um, and of course, leaving the ring, and then you had Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson that actually attacked Roman Reigns from behind. So then you started off the episode with Miz TV. Miz and his wife, Marcy or whatever her name is. Their first guest, their only guest, is AJ Styles, and they asked him straight up, AJ, you know, did you ask Gallows and Anderson to attack Roman Reigns? Of course, AJ Styles said no. He said he don't need anybody to beat him. He said he didn't even want that because now it involves him. He wasn't a fan of it. Then he was like, hey, well, did you ask him not to attack him? He was like, what? He's like, hey, if you didn't ask him not to attack him, it's like the same thing. Y'all cool and all that type of stuff. And he said, hey, I don't need help to beat Roman Reigns. And then say, look, Roman Reigns is bigger and stronger than you, and he gonna whoop you at Payback. And then he started saying that he couldn't handle the truth, and the Miz went into that. Mars asked him to act out something that Will Smith said. He did that. Mars said it was hot. He said, "Oh, well, thank you." He went over. They kissed, of course. They did a lot of kissing. He goes back. He said, "Now back to you, AJ." And AJ sit down, pop him, hit him with those quick hits, laid him out, left the ring. So your first match is going to be the U.S. champion Kalisto versus Ryback. And Ryback kind of punished Kalisto the majority of the match, but Kalisto put up a fight. It was a very entertaining match at times, and Ryback ended up kind of blocking that Delito del Sol or whatever you call that, the move where you jump off the rope and do the backwards, boom. He blocked it, turned him into a shell shot, boom, just dropped him. So that was a 3 out of 5. It was an average match that had a lot of high points to it. So your second match was actually Dolph Ziggler versus Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin attacks Dolph Ziggler from behind while Dolph Ziggler was doing his intro and just laid him out again. He laid him out again. So Corbin was interviewed, like, say, bro, why you attacked him from behind? You had a match with him. He said, because I can. Just walked off. Wasn't officially a match, but I called it match number 2, and it was entertaining to hit a 3 out of 5. Your third match is going to be your Intercontinental Champion, The Miz, versus AJ Styles. Of course, he just got kind of knocked down in front of his wife. So, good back and forth action. AJ was very aggressive from the beginning. They both doing a lot of huge hits on each other, and they both putting each other in finishing moves and have to fight out of it. Miz eventually gets tired of, AJ doing whatever it is he's doing. After that calf crusher, he like skip it. He tell his wife to go grab the belt, start walking up the entrance ramp, and who shows up? Gallows and Anderson. The Miz looking, and he backing up like, dang, can't go that way. Miz jump over the top rope, boom, hit him, throw him in the ring, wait for him to get up, take off that protective elbow cover, phenomenal elbow, boom, pin victory for AJ Styles. Matches a 3 out of 5. So you got a Raw recap of Ambrose Asylum where Shane McMahon has Sami Zayn and Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens and Dean Ambrose in the ring, and saying that he's making a match at Payback against Sami Zayn and Chris Jericho in a match between Dean Ambrose and Kevin Owens. That match, they've had a rivalry already. And they start fighting each other, and then of course Kevin Owens and Dean Ambrose. No, I mean Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn gonna fight at Payback. Sorry about that. And Y2J and Dean Ambrose gonna fight at Payback. So they show the match between Dean Ambrose and Kevin Owens, and of course Dean Ambrose was able to win that match, but then Chris Jericho sneaks in the ring, give him a cold breaker, boom, knock him out. So Sami Zayn and Dean Ambrose are interviewed, and they say they pretty much got to beat Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens tonight. And then, they argued that, Sami Zayn was like, man, you ain't like none of my tag team suggestions. We needed a tag team name. And, Dean Ambrose was like, hey, whatever. And he said, well, I like the Rough Riders. He's like, no, man, it's too much sexual connotation. I don't like that. So, crowd got a good laugh out for that. And Gallows and Anderson were interviewed on why they keep attacking folks. Is like, you trying to help Roman Reigns? It's like, no, Roman Reigns don't need that help. We're trying to make an impact. And we're gonna show you what type of impact we're gonna do come this Monday on Raw when we fight the Usos. So, okay, you got your first in-ring action with them. Fourth match, you got a tag team women's match, Tamina and Naomi versus Natalya and Paige, and they had great back and forth action. The ladies actually were very active in the ring, had all kind of cool stuff. They ended the match in a great fashion. You had Natty putting the sharpshooter on Tamina, and then Paige putting a PTO, the Paige tap out on Naomi, and Naomi tapped out. So that was a 3 out of 5. Your fifth match was R-Truth versus Fandango with Goldust as a special guest referee, and they did a Raw recap of, a SmackDown recap of the formation of Goldango, of Goldust and Fandango being a tag team. And the match actually ended up being more like a dance-off than anything, which R-Truth won the dance-off and then snuck in a finisher move on Fandango, got the pin victory. Just for it being funny, the match was a 3 out of 5. If it was an average match, if it was just a regular match, then it would have been horrible. There was nothing to it. But just for it being funny, the crowd really embraced it. 3 out of 5. And Goldust and R-Truth ended up dancing at the end of that as well. Then you had Enzo and Cass come down to the ring, do what they did. Crowd really enjoy it because you can't teach that. And, of course, they did a Raw recap of Enzo and Cass beating the Dudley Boys to move to the finals of the tag team tournament, what happened at Payback. And then you had the recap of Team Vaudevillains beating the Usos, who were injured because they got attacked by, Anderson and Gallows. They moved into the finals of the actual tag tournament as well. So, Enzo and Cass doing their things in the ring. Vaudevillains come out and say, hey, y'all pretty much gonna get whooped because we real men that represent a real era. And, of course, Enzo and Cass say, hey, we gonna win. And that's because y'all are soft. And let me spell it out for you. SAWFT, soft. So, of course, you had that. So, like I said, that is the two teams that's going to meet up for the tag team tournament at Payback, and they get to face the New Day for the tag titles. Your sixth and final match was actually Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn and Dean Ambrose. Lots of back and forth action, lots of beating up on each other. Dean Ambrose was about to win the match, and he put the dirty deeds on Kevin Owens, and Chris Jericho grabbed Kevin Owens' legs and kicked him out. So, Dean Ambrose hits Chris Jericho out the ring, then goes around to the top rope and was about to jump on Kevin Owens, but, Chris Jericho actually knocks Dean Ambrose off the ropes, and he hit his midsection on the top rope, bounces off. Kevin Owens smartly rolls on him immediately, gets the pin victory. So, match was a 3 out of 5. It was entertaining, had some good points for the crowd. And, Kevin Owens pinned Dean Ambrose for the win. That is just full SmackDown recap. Subscribe to my channel. Tell your mom and them to subscribe to my channel. Tell your friends and them to subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to PlayTimeCares.com because I don't only do wrestling. I do all kind of foolishness. Go on that. Follow me on all the social media, PlayTimeCares.com. If you want me to join one of them, tell me. I do it. And I follow back and all that good stuff. Playtime out.